Speaker for the evening, Major Frankie Purdy. She's a native of Chesapeake, Virginia, and a proud graduate of Virginia Commonwealth University, where she earned her Bachelor of Fine Arts. Shortly after completing college, Frankie made a life-changing decision rooted in selfless service. She joined the United States Army. For the past 17 years, Frankie has proudly served on active duty. She has completed 2 combat tours to Afghanistan and currently serves as an Army Logistics Officer stationed right here at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Her military career has shaped her leadership style, strengthened her resilience, and deepened her commitment to serving others with integrity and purpose. Beyond her service to the nation, Frankie is a devoted wife, mother, and entrepreneur. She is the owner of Purdy Products, a holistic wellness brand dedicated to helping individuals live healthier, more balanced lives. As a certified oil specialist and wellness advocate, Frankie is passionate about educating her community of 5 dimensions of holistic health, which includes physical, emotional, mental, social, and spiritual well-being. Also, Frankie is the director of the Miss Clarksville Juneteenth Scholarship Pageant. Frankie currently holds the title of Miss Universe United Mrs. 2025, where she uses her platform Wellness Royalty to inspire, empower, and serve. Through workshops, community outreach, mentorship, and public speaking, she equips individuals with the tools and confidence to take ownership of their health. Whether she's in uniform or on stage or in her community, Frankie believes the true leadership begins with service. Her mission is simple yet powerful: to help others understand that health is wealth, and when you care for the whole person, you create a lasting impact. So you all would join me in welcoming
Thank you so much for that warm introduction. Wow. When you read it like that, I sound like I had my life together. I said, but let me tell you, but I have to tell you this. None of this happened by accident, and none of it happened overnight. Ladies, it might not seem like we have a lot in common, but I was a debutante as well in 2020. I was a Eureka debutante, and I do have to put on my heart. Today is my mother's birthday, and I'm lucky enough that she is still with me here today, and that God has blessed me to have her in my life still. And I pray that each of y'all have your mothers in your lives. So we should give the mothers a round of applause right here. They have definitely fought the good fight. I know a lot of y'all are familiar with trauma over years, right? And I know your mothers have worked really hard to ensure that whatever traumas they had, they did not pass on to you ladies. And that is a telltale sign of you being here in the debutante today. So thank you, mothers, for having these girls here, and thank you for the Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated for having this program year after year after year. So while my bio does talk about my titles and my accomplishments, what it doesn't show you were my doubts, the mistakes I made, the failures I had, and the lessons that shaped me today. But that's exactly what I'm here to talk about with you today. I'm excited to be here because I believe that there is something powerful in hearing from someone that looks like you, someone who understands your journey and genuinely wants to see you win. Because when I look around this room, I don't just see a bunch of students. I see future leaders. I see entrepreneurs. I see educators. I see creatives and young women who will change the world. Because I remember being your age, and best believe I got a lot of advice. And I have to tell you this too. Remember that your mom, 9 out of 10, is always right. You just don't like the tone of it. Just remember that. So, and not knowing always how to apply that information, right? They're gonna tell you to believe in yourself, keep up the good work, like all those things. You're just like, you don't know what I'm going through right now. So, but I'm not here to lecture you or to tell you what to do with your life. I am here as someone who has lived a little, learned a lot, and I just want to share something practical with you all tonight or today. You don't have to have everything figured out right now, but you do have to start moving. And today I want to give you 5 simple shifts that can change the direction of your life if you choose to apply them. The first one is to focus on working and not wishing. Show of hands, everybody. How many of you ever said, I wish I could get into that school, I wish I could start that business, I wish I could look like that, I wish I did have that confidence. We all have wishes, but today I don't want to just talk about wishing, I want to talk about working, because that's the biggest difference. A wish is a hope for something that may never happen, while a goal is a planned objective to be achieved. This is a really good quote here. A goal without a plan is just a wish. And if you don't have a plan, you're not chasing your goal, you're just dreaming. Dreams are beautiful. Martin Luther King had a dream, right? But dreams need direction. So you can't just say, I want to be successful. Because what does that really mean? What does that look like for you? If you can't clearly picture it, then you can't move towards it. You have to start with self-discovery. And self-discovery starts with these simple questions. Who are you? What do you want? And what matters to you? Because without that love, without that clarity, you could possibly be chasing somebody else's dream instead of your own. So instead of saying, I wish I could, let's replace that with, what steps can I take today? If you want to go to college, what are you doing to make yourself look presentable to that college? You want to start that business? What skills are you building in order to start that business? You want more confidence? How often do you practice showing up? Wishes are good, but work builds results. So number 2, focus on improving and not proving. I'm gonna say that again. Focus on improving and not proving. This is a big one, because I can remember being the 17, 18-year-old age, the teenager, feeling like I always had to prove myself. Proving that I was smart enough, proving that I was pretty enough, proving that I was talented enough, proving that I was good enough. But I'm gonna tell you something. Your value does not come from the opinions of others. And you don't have to prove your worth, but you do need to improve your skills. And that's the difference. Proving is about outside validation, while improving is about inside growth. When you focus on growth, you don't panic when someone doubts you. You don't crumble when someone criticizes you, because you know that you're building. And building takes time, right? You know Rome wasn't built in a day, right? Resilience grows when you stop asking, do they believe in me? And start asking, am I getting better? That shift alone can change your confidence. Number 3, focus on action and not perfection. Because let's be honest, how many of us are always ready for that right time? I'm gonna do it when I feel more confident. I'm gonna do it when I have more time. I'm gonna do it when I'm ready. I'm gonna do it when things calm down. We always say that. But if we continue to wait for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, the perfect confidence, we'll never get there. Because some day is not a day of the week. And perfection is a trap. Winston Churchill says, perfection is the enemy of progress. And here's why. Perfectionism sounds reasonable, it sounds like you care, but perfectionism is actually setting a standard so high that it might not even be achievable. And it creates these 3 things. First, it creates procrastination, which is the delay of getting started because you're afraid that you're not going to be good enough, and you doubt yourself. And later, you say, I'll do it later, but later keeps moving. Second is overthinking. I have a pin on one of my jackets that says, I'm an overthinker. And you replay it over and over and over in your head. I'm gonna do it this way, no, I'm gonna do it that way, no, I'm gonna do it this way. And then you start thinking, what if I fail? What if I embarrass myself? What if they judge me? You think so much that you drain your own confidence before you even begin. And the third one is paralysis. When the pressure feels so heavy that you freeze. You don't apply, you don't try out, you don't start the project, you postpone the idea. Not because you can't do it, just because you're afraid it won't be perfect. Now let me ask you something. How many times have you not started something because you were afraid it wasn't going to be good enough? Exactly. And that perfection stops progress. But here's the truth. Nothing is perfect. We are actually perfectly imperfect. And growth doesn't come from getting it right on the first time. Growth just comes from getting started. So I want to do a little exercise real quick. We're going to say this together. When I say progress, say not perfection. All right, you ready? Progress.
Not perfection.
One more time. Progress.
Not perfection.
Y'all are amazing. y'all are awesome. Focusing on action means asking one simple question. What can I do today? Not 5 years from now, not when I feel ready, but today. Applying that, putting that one application in, doing that one study session, finishing that one workout, having that one conversation, taking that one brave step. Small steps create momentum, and momentum builds confidence, and confidence builds success. You don't have to be perfect to start, you just have to start. Number 4, focus on committing and not quitting. So I'm gonna tell you guys a personal story. I started my pageant journey when I was in high school. I did 2 high school pageants and then 1 local pageant, and didn't win anything. Not even an award, nothing. I got nothing for my efforts, right? And then when I did that 3rd pageant, I realized, I said, you know what? I don't think this is for me. And so I quit. I put my pageant dream to the side and I lived my life, right? Went on by my life, never thought twice about it. And then one day I was sitting in my room and I was like, you know what? They got pageants for people, you know, my age, my marital status. They have that. And so I actually put in for the Miss Tennessee USA pageant, which is very competitive. It might not be the best first pageant to have, but that's when we started. And I was happy enough, I walked away with a few awards. Top 16, People's Choice, and Miss Congeniality. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna run. Let me keep this going while it's hot, right? Because the next one's gonna be is where it's gonna be when I win. So I went in for the University of United Mrs. 2024. And made the whole pageant, shoot, and I just knew I was gonna win. And I was called first runner-up or 2nd place. And I was like, gosh, dang it. I just knew I had this one. So at that point, I had a pivotal decision to make. I could quit again and say it's not for me, or I could commit. So when I say I locked in, I didn't just lock in. I had a mantra. And my mantra was, respectfully, I am going to kill the competition. Respectfully. Respectfully. Don't say respectfully to get everyone afterwards. But don't try that with your mama. Okay, so I said, respectfully, I'm going to murder the competition. And I locked in. I did 4 practice pageants. I hired a coach. I was practicing at the gym after my workouts. I was going to the gym every day. I locked in. I was focused. I committed. And that time, I won. Because Martin Luther King says, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then you crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Because commitment is not about speed, it's about consistency. So to help with that, there's an acronym called SMART goals. Has anybody ever heard of SMART goals? All right, what does the S stand for? Specific. Goals need to be well-defined and focused, answering what, why, and who. The M is for measurable, because there must be a criteria to exist to measure to determine if you're making any type of success. Also, your goals should be achievable, should be realistic, attainable given your resources and your skills. Is the goal relevant? It must align with broader long-term objectives. And then finally, it has to be time-bound. Because if we don't, we're going to keep pushing the goalpost farther and farther. So we have to give it a time bound to create urgency and focus. So instead of saying, I want better grades, we're going to lock in, we're going to get very specific. So instead of, I just want better grades, we're going to say, in order to increase my grades, I will study an additional 45 minutes every day, at 7 p.m., Monday through Thursday over the next quarter before my next report card. It sounds long, but it's very focused. It's relevant because I know y'all not studying on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I know y'all not gonna study for 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? So you wanna make sure that it's achievable, relatable, relevant, and time bound. And that's what we call commitment. And last but not least, focus on doing and not doubting. Because doubting is sneaky. It creeps in and says, what if I'm not good enough? What if I embarrass myself? What if I, who cares? Because the people that are talking about you, they ain't trying. They sit back talking about you, so. Wow. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Because failure teaches you something, and while doubt stops you before you even try. If you want to stop doubting yourself, there are 3 simple things you can do. First, we want to take that big goal and break it into smaller steps. Because smaller steps can create progress, and progress can build confidence. Second, you want to take the action immediately, because doubt and delay will grow, and you will not do it. Just make sure we continue to move to build momentum. And then lastly, we want to treat challenges like training and not threats. When your brain sees something hard, it automatically sees it as a threat. But what would happen if you turned that threat into and saw it as training or even practice? Think of some of the most successful people. Name some people, anybody. Somebody you think is really successful. Beyonce. All right, we already know Beyonce been working ever since she was 5, right? Like, she's been doing it. Who else? Name somebody else. Who? Vanessa Williams, another woman who had to deal with adversity as she was the first African-American Miss America and her title was ripped from her hands. And it took them, 30-something years before they apologized? Well, who's somebody else that's successful? Then Ruby Dee. She was a brilliant actress who had to deal with adversity. Serena Williams, we can keep naming people. What do you think separates you from those people? Nothing. Not money, not power, not anything. It's a growth mindset. If you change your mindset, you can be as successful as the most successful person you can think of. So instead of thinking, I'm not good at this, I want you to say, I'm not good at this yet. That one word keeps you in the fight and keeps your future open. So ladies, as I reach the end of my speech, I'm just gonna say this few things. Years from now, you may not remember every quote I shared and every definition I said. But what I want you to remember is the moment you decided that life would not be built on wishes, but on work. That your confidence will not come from proving people wrong, but improving yourself daily. That you would stop waiting for perfect conditions and start moving in purpose. Because when life gets hard, there will be moments when doubt whispers, you can't. And in those moments, I want you to answer back with, watch me. Because here's the truth. You're not behind, you're not small, you're not average, you are becoming. And becoming takes courage. It takes discipline when no one is watching. It takes resilience when things don't go your way. And it takes belief before results even show up. Because one day someone is going to look at your life and they are going to see confidence and success. But what they're not going to see are the nights you stayed focused, the mornings you showed up tired but determined, the moments you chose growth over comfort, because that is where the real power lies. Not in perfection, but in persistence. When comparison shows up, stay focused. When fear shows up, take action. And when doubt shows up, you move anyway. Because you don't need permission, you don't need applause, and you don't need perfect timing. All you need to do is take that next step forward every single time. Because doubt has stopped more dreams than failure ever could. The world doesn't need you to play small. It needs you disciplined, it needs you focused, and it needs you fully committed to your growth. So build the life you want, one decision at a time, because I believe in you. So now I challenge you to do the work your future self will thank you for later. Thank y'all for having me today. I do have some sheets for you guys. As I said, you might not remember everything I said, but I did take the big points and put them on a paper for you ladies. And I do have my QR code up there that will link you to everything me. And I did create you ladies a workbook as well. So if I could get their email addresses, I could email them that workbook and it will expand on everything that we talked about today. So thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much. I know maybe Kirby was here from depth, but I feel like we all had some nuggets and some knowledge. So thank you so much. You know, we can't pay anyone for their time, but we can definitely say thank you.